Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bright Spots. I am so excited that you are here, and I am so excited about tonight's guest. So here it is, another week, and off camera, I was talking with my guest for this evening, and it dawned on me. I've been doing Bright Spots now for a full year. A full year. Can you imagine? So it's mind-boggling to me that this idea of doing this show has turned into something that I look forward to every week, and have met so many incredible people here in the studio and also out in the community because of Bright Spots. So I thank you all for tuning in each and every week. Whether you tune in live or you watch this show later, I truly appreciate your support as I try to highlight the folks who are really doing incredible things in our world. So thank you. Please continue to share your ideas, your suggestions for guests. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show and you're watching tonight, please send me a message. I'd be happy to talk with you. If you are new to Bright Spots, this is an interactive show. So we want you to send us a comment down below. Just type it in. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We love to know where folks are tuning in from. And if you're watching it live, put a 1 in the comment. And if you're watching it after we've gone live, please just put a 2 so that we know who's watching it live and who's watching it later. Not that it really matters, just curiosity, right? Okay, so tonight's guest, I just think you're going to love her. Tonight's guest is Joelle Moray. Joelle is a 200-hour registered yoga teacher with an additional 100 hours of trauma-informed certifications. She has extensive education and training in mental wellness, neuroplasticity, gut-brain health, and trauma. Joelle is on the planet to help women live a big, bold, beautiful life. She feels most alive when she is writing, creating, speaking, coaching, collaborating, and having dinner with other humans. She feels most like herself when doing anything outdoors, spending time with family, or when she is on her yoga mat. She wants women to know that you are on this planet to live, fully live, to discover, uncover, and share your passion and gifts with the world. You are seeking, looking to find the how. She is a coach ready to give you the tools and the real, sometimes very real, support you need. Her officially trademarked mantra, which we're going to talk about, is meant to inspire and encourage women. And I'll let her share her mantra as we bring her into the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Miss Joelle Moray. Hi, Joelle.
Hi, Lori. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it is great to have you here.
It's so nice to be here with you. I was laughing because in every photo I have a different hair color, and then I have to have a different hair color in real life now. So
I love looking back through pictures and seeing my own hairstyles.
Yeah.
And, you know, Facebook is so wonderful, or social media is great about giving you those memories. You know, I see pictures from 5-6 years ago when my hair was very short and very blonde. And I think, whoo, what was I thinking?
Yeah. I'm just looking at, we had 2 different headshots there, and I'm like, my hair is shorter, the other one's super blonde. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's okay. And look at you. You look gorgeous. You're outside where you feel your best.
Yeah, for sure. Even though it's just slightly chilly, I like it anyhow, and outside. So yes.
Yeah, that's great. So Joelle, tell us about your company, InteGreat Wellness. How did you come up with the name? How did you get here? What does your past life look like? And what did the journey look like that brought you here to help women step into the fullness of their own lives?
We only have a half hour, right?
Right. Well, you can take as much time as you want.
Yeah, the InteGreat Wellness is definitely an evolution. This has been something that's sort of been evolving for several years, actually more than several years. So starting back, 12, 13 years ago, I started working apart from my day job, which has nothing to do with wellness. I started working, just picking up sort of extra work as an adjunct instructor at a couple of local universities, and one actually not local, very large university. And through that, really started connecting with my students. 12, 13 years ago, I was much closer to their age and really became kind of buddies with my students after they were done being my students, and found a real sort of love for mentoring and coaching people along, specifically then it was for career things. And then that kind of evolved into sort of meshing with the other parts of my life, which is yoga, that, up until the pandemic, it was really a hobby, and it was a way for myself to just kind of have my own practice. But then during the pandemic, I actually became certified to be a teacher as well. And so sort of combining my love of helping people, my love of connecting, especially with women. Men are welcome too. Sometimes we have one or two brave men that join us, but usually it's all women. And then, you know, combining all of that outdoor with healthy lifestyle combined with building community and helping women, that has sort of been the evolution. This has been a years long evolution. You know, it's not like I just woke up during the pandemic and said, hey, I think I'll, you know, launch this business. And again, this is apart from my day job. So this is, you know, definitely a passion project, but one that it has a very much a growing community, and it's been wonderful.
That's great. So we want to talk a little bit tonight about your mantra. So share with the viewers a little bit about, I didn't let the cat out of the bag, but share your mantra and tell us how you came up with that and what that means to you.
Sure. So this is one of the things I'm the most excited about, actually. So I refer to it as a mantra. You can refer to it also as the business slogan, if you will, or the tagline. And that is, you are here on purpose and you're right on time. And where that originally began was actually with two little tiny babies. My husband and I are in the process of fostering and adopting two amazing, amazing tiny little humans. And one of them is through the foster care system, and one of them is through private adoption. And when they came to us, they were both newborns. And so it's kind of like having twins, which is a whole other episode we can get into some other time. But having these two little babies here, and in their very unique situations of how they came to be, I just kind of started saying to them on a daily basis that you are here on purpose and you're right on time. So, you know, that way, as they grow up, you know, they don't feel that they do feel like they belong here, and that this is their home, and we are their family. And so as I, you know, was saying this to them every single day, and simultaneously kind of, you know, once again, evolving InteGreat Wellness, I thought, you know, this works for the women that I work with as well. Especially over the last, let's say 13 months or so, a lot of people have been sort of, you know, evaluating or reevaluating what's important to them in a lot of ways. Sometimes that means career. Sometimes that means their personal life. Sometimes it means their personal health. Sometimes it means they're finally going to write that book they've always wanted to write. And, you know, a lot of times people think I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too whatever to do this. And I'm here to remind them that, in fact, they are on purpose and they are right on time.
So Joelle, if I'm hearing you correctly, your goal is truly to empower women to kind of figure out who they are, why they're here, and live full lives. How do you do that? Despite the pandemic, I mean, how do you do that? What types of tools do you use? What types of, I don't know if therapies is the right word, but, and is there a certain woman that you're looking for? Is it all women, or is there a niche? Is there a certain woman that you're looking for?
So to answer the first part of that, I do have several different things that I can offer to folks to help them. The main one is coaching. And so we can work together either I offer several different versions of groups for coaching, but also we can work together one-on-one. And we start to look at, we start looking at where you are right now, what's going on right now in the present moment. And I help women take all of the drama language out of really trying to find the right words to describe exactly what they're feeling and exactly what they're going through, and exactly what they're experiencing in real time. And then we really start with rooting into our values. We do extremely deep values work. And if you've ever done values work, or if you've never done values work, it's really fascinating. It's something that we really could be doing throughout our lifespan, right? It's not something that we just kind of do once and then that's it. Certainly what we value as teenagers, for example, is different from what we value when we're in our, say, 40s. So We start by rooting in our values, and we get a really good, clear explanation of ourselves through that. And in some cases, it's the first time people have ever done that kind of work. And I just love it. I love that process of helping people discover and literally root. If you think about a tree rooting or a plant rooting, we root into our values. That is the foundation. That's what's going to keep us in place, and it's going to keep us growing strong. And then from there, we move into why work. There's a fantastic author by the name of Simon Sinek. I highly recommend anything he's ever read, but he talks a lot about why work. So we start with values, and then we get into our why. And from there, then we can develop goals to work on. And we work collaboratively on goals. So in other words, I'm not the expert on your life. You are the expert on your life. But we work together. I'm your coach. I will guide you through living your most meaningful, purposeful, integrated, community-based, and meaningful and productive life that you can. And so we start with values, we work, and then we go into our why work, and then together we establish and work on some goals with you, and then we have some really specific tools to help those goals come into fruition. So when a lot of times people talk about motivation when they're talking about reaching goals or setting goals, and I kind of dispel some of those myths around motivation, because as long as we have strong values, that foundation, and we understand what those are, and then we also clearly understand our why, and we are viscerally, emotionally connected to our why, then motivation is sort of not the thing that gets us out of bed, right? It's understanding what our why is, why we're doing something in the first place. So that is super exciting work too. And I forget the next thing you asked. Sorry.
Oh, goodness. And so do I. So it must not,
Okay.
you must have covered it all, right?
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of people that do discovery work with individuals to try to help them figure out their why, figure out what's holding them back. What makes you different?
So I've been there in many, many ways. I have experienced trauma. I'm a trauma survivor. I have completely dismantled and deconstructed and rebuilt my life from the ground up. And I've been there. I've walked the walk. I've lived it. And I clearly know my why, and that is to build connection with, for, and by other women, to help each other. Because a lot of times, we go through life sort of on autopilot, and we don't even realize that we're doing that. And that's kind of a travesty, and I'm here to kind of shake things up a little bit, kind of wake things up a little bit, and ignite that inner fire within folks to say, it doesn't have to be that way. The way when I hear people say, well, that's just the way I am, or, people are living with things like chronic pain, and they're living with things like, depressive episodes and different things. And it really doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be that way. And if there's a dream that you've always wanted to go after, and you were afraid to even say it out loud, and in some cases even admit it to yourself, it just doesn't have to be that way. There is a better way. There's a better way forward together. And that's what makes me a little bit different. And, there are some amazing coaches out there. I have a coach. I highly recommend her, actually. So, if you'd like to go hang out with her for a while, she's pretty awesome. But yeah, that's kind of what sets me apart. I've been there. I've lived it and survived it, and come out the other side to try to help others through it.
It's interesting. Years ago, when I started speaking and doing inspirational type motivational speaking, the idea of having a coach was very foreign to me. But I do have a coach as well, and it's more than a friend. It's actually someone who can be very transparent, and you can be very vulnerable with. And I think that a lot of women don't understand, including myself, don't understand the value of that until you experience it. there's truly some value in having a coach and having that person. So I remembered the second question.
Good.
Your niche. Who is
Oh,
there a particular woman that you're trying, or person? You did say men too, and interestingly enough, the two folks that have commented on our group are both men, which is great.
yeah, they're welcome. They're
Yes.
welcome.
So the who is it that you're trying to reach? Is it all women? Is it women that have survived trauma? Is there a niche?
Sure. It would be easy to just say, everyone, of course, everyone's welcome, right? I mean, this is a community. So on my website, I have a little intro video there, and I talk about how I love women who inspire me for different reasons. And so I guess that's the niche. A lot of times people come to me and say things like, I have this crazy idea and you're never going to believe it, but I want to XYZ. It could be that they are a physician and they have this secret desire to, open a candle shop, and they've always wanted to open this candle shop, and no one could ever believe that they would give up their thriving, medical practice to go, sell candles. But it's just what they've always wanted to do. And, oh my goodness, do you think that's crazy? I love when women have ideas like that, because it goes against the grain. Ideas that, or something within themselves that they feel like is just kind of, different than the norm. Women who sort of march to the beat of their own drummer. I certainly do. And anyone who's ever met me, I think would confirm that. So, women who think outside the box, or really, really want to think outside the box, but they're just petrified. So when we talk about things like stress, people talk about fight or flight, but there's also freeze. So sometimes we're just paralyzed with immobility because we just don't know where to start, how to start, or we think this idea is completely insane. We get consumed with, what will people think? What will people think if I, quit my big fancy job to, live in my garage and write a book for the next year. I'm certainly not advocating to be irresponsible and just, do that. But there's a method that can be followed to help those dreams come to reality. So that is who I love to connect with. The people who have that little thing inside of them, that little desire that they're sometimes, like I said, even afraid to admit to themselves. This is the space, to come in and say, here's what I'm thinking. I'm in this transition. I feel like I'm in this transition, or I feel like, there's something missing, or there's something that's just not quite, my job is great. My family's great. My kids are great. Everything's great. Everything's great. Everything's fine. But there's just this thing that's like gnawing at me, and I just can't define that. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to pull that out of you, and to develop that part of you. We work a lot on strengths. So we do talk about our shortcomings a little bit, only to identify them and because they have to be dealt with. But I'm more interested in enhancing someone's strengths than I am in developing their weaknesses, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So in our in the information that you sent me, you said you wanted to talk a little bit about how taking care of our physical health affects our mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What do you mean by that?
Sure. I'll try to not get too sciencey here. But there's a massive connection between, they say, well, you are what you eat, right? We've heard that our whole lives. But there's a connection between how we take care of ourselves and our mental health. There is a connection between gut health and brain health. The gut is now considered the second brain. In fact, there, in some cases, are even more neurons and more connections within our gut than there are within our actual brain. So that's fascinating. There's also, that feeling when you have butterflies in your stomach, that from maybe excitement because something incredible is about to happen, or when you get really, really bad news and you almost, you physically put your hand on your stomach and you go, oh, I just heard this thing and I'm sick over it. That is literally our gut and our brain talking to each other. Okay. So when we take care of that physical self, it directly impacts our mental health. And when we're not taking care of our mental health, our physical body can be very affected by that. So when I can tell within, I do some breathing workshops that I know we're not really going to talk about that here tonight, but within a couple minutes, sometimes even sooner, of doing breath work with someone, especially one-on-one, I can tell immediately if they're currently under stress or not. And sometimes they don't even realize that they are. It's fascinating. And so sometimes when we have things like people say, oh, my back always hurts, or my knee always hurts, or, I just have never been a very good sleeper, or things like that, that all can be dealt with through taking care of our mental health, taking care of our physical body. And it works because the human body is very intelligently designed. And we can start to bring those things into alignment for folks.
I have to tell you, I love hearing the birds outside. It's just beautiful. It really is. It's one of my favorite things about spring, and I keep hearing the birds in your backyard there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about your website. So I'm going to add that to the stream here, and this is relatively new, correct?
Yep, just launched it in January.
All right,
January 2021. Yep.
So, folks, if you're wanting to learn more about Joelle Moray and InteGreat Wellness, the website is joellemoray.com. And this is what you're going to see when you get there. And so walk us through this a little bit, if you will, Joelle. Tell us a little bit about the site and what people can expect when they get here.
Sure. Right there is the first page. You're just going to see a very quick welcome. And then there on the first page, you're going to see mindfulness-based stress reduction, goal coaching, and then yoga and breath work. And then if you go under, oh, I'm so sorry. My dog is barking at the birds.
It's okay.
My dog's protecting our house from all those killer birds that are flying overhead, clearly. So sorry about that. But under offerings, there are actually a couple of more offerings under there as well. Specifically, there are some goal hikes, and the goal hikes are for folks that are geographically located in the same place that I am, but everything else can be done virtually.
Okay. And then you wanted to talk a little bit about Together.
Yes. So Together is a very unique program. It is reserved. It's only done once a year, and it is reserved for 10 women only. And I was going to launch that this spring, and I mean, real life, it didn't happen. So now I'm shooting for the fall. But Together, Together is kind of a comprehensive program. We can talk about one specific goal, but we are going to, what Together does is it takes one goal. However, it integrates, if you think about integrate wellness, it integrates every part of your life to try to help that specific goal come to fruition. So there is a goal getters program, which is you just work on that one goal, and we only talk about that one goal, and that's it. But in Together, we talk about that one goal and more. So we're going to look at your entire life and how all the different pieces of your life work together. And if you look at the word together, it actually breaks down to 3 words, which is to get her. And we like to say, or I like to say, that your future self is waiting for you to get her. So 10 women for 90 days. And we meet once a week virtually, and you can be located anywhere in the world to participate in the Together program. And also, if you sign up for the Together program, you actually get all of the other programs as well. So you get 1 round of mindfulness-based stress reduction, and you get 1 round of goal getters as well.
So tell us about the mindfulness stress. I'm going to get it wrong.
No, it's fine. MBSR. Yep.
Okay. Mindfulness-based stress reduction. There we go. Yes.
Mindfulness-based stress reduction. A lot of people, if you've heard of mindfulness-based stress reduction before, it's based on the Jon Kabat-Zinn methodology. He's the creator of MBSR. And so this is where we use mindfulness, breath work, and a little bit of yoga to bring all of the pieces of your life into alignment. So different from Goal Getters, different from Together, where that's just different type of work. This is a very specific program. I'm not the creator of this program, but I am certified in it. So it is 8 weeks. It is self-paced and done virtually. And the next course will be ready in summer 2021. So please keep checking back for that, because you'll be able to, when you sign up for MBSR, like I said, it's an 8-week course, but it's 8-section course, but it's self-paced. So you do each section at your own pace. So we talk about things such as mindful eating, being mindful when you're doing something as seemingly mundane as doing the dishes or driving or things like that. So we're going to bring mindfulness into every aspect of your life. And by doing so, it's been scientifically proven to lower stress and increase good feeling endorphins. So it's a remarkable program. There are many practitioners of MBSR out there. I'm certainly not the only one, but it is something that I'm very passionate about, because stress is killing us. It literally is killing us. Stress is causes heart disease. It causes all sorts of things that, people, can have strokes and so many things. It's literally killing us. But there's a better way. As I was saying before, what if somebody came to you and said, it just doesn't have to be that way? Those chronic issues that you're dealing with, it doesn't have to be that way. And taking a little bit of time for yourself every single day in the mindfulness practice. And there are very specific things. It's so much more than just saying, oh, just be mindful, but we have about 10 bazillion thoughts. I think that's actually a scientific number. There's 10 bazillion thoughts that go through our heads every single day about so many things, right? Especially when you are the main caretaker, or this is where women come into play, right? Mostly women are traditionally caretakers, but we're also working and running the house and taking care of all the things. And so, you lay down to go to bed at night and you're like, oh man, I didn't do this, or I have to do that, or whatever the case might be. Mindfulness-based stress reduction helps calm all of that and helps us just live a much more aligned, integrated life.
I love it. I love it. Well, you have a fan in the house. Wendy Anderson. Joelle helped me with my goals during her program, Goal Getters. So
hi, Wendy.
It's always good to get an endorsement. And folks, if you're just tuning in, either live or on the replay, this is Joelle Moray of InteGreat Wellness, and she's been with us for this half hour talking about her new program, her new website, her new business, InteGreat Wellness. And I think I spelled it wrong. I think I spelled it GREAT.
Yep. Yeah. I think when I first sent it to you, which was actually several months ago now, that was the sort of the first iteration, but no problem at all. Went with that one. You start searching for trademarks and things like that, and you have to spell things a certain way to make it work. So it's actually the regular spelling of InteGreat, because that's what we're doing here, right? We're integrating all parts of our life, bringing everything into alignment, everything into balance. So so
Joelle, we're coming to the bottom of the hour. Is there anything that we've missed that you wanted to speak about that we haven't touched on?
No, I don't think so. Thank you so much for having me. I would love to connect with anyone. Of course, joellemoray.com. You can email me at joelle@joellemoray.com. Be happy to talk about any of the programs at length with anyone. A lot of them are, like I said, it's kind of self-paced. We're doing a lot virtually, so you can be located anywhere, except for the goals hikes. You kind of have to be with me to go on a hike with me. And membership in the website and membership in InteGreat Wellness is and always will be free. And the goals hikes are and always will be free as well.
That's awesome.
So there's a little bit something for everyone. We have some free stuff. We have some things that are sort of, kind of entry level price points, mid-level price points, higher end, and all of the, kind of different magical things that go along with that. So really you can pick and choose and customize. And as yogis, any yoga practitioner will tell you, take the parts that are meaningful to you and that really resonate with you and leave the rest.
So do you teach yoga, Joelle, locally?
Yep, I sure do. I don't own a studio or anything like that, but I do a lot of work with women in recovery, women in trauma recovery and different things, work with a lot of nonprofits, but also when the weather is nice, I do community yoga outside. And so those will be coming very soon as well. So if you sign up for the InteGreat Wellness membership, you'll get notifications when and where classes are going to be. And I offer discounts for healthcare workers, military, both active and veteran, and educators. So those discounts are available too. But I love to go outside, especially when we're doing when we talk about trauma informed yoga. I'll make this very quick. When we talk about trauma informed yoga, it's really could also be called stress reduction yoga, or anxiety reducing yoga. And being outside and physically grounding into the ground is profoundly therapeutic and helpful. So do a lot outside. So I've been watching the weather to see when it's going to be nice enough that we can do some yoga outside. So that's coming back around. And yeah, so look for that too.
So you did paddleboard yoga. Did you not last year? Did I see that? Was that done at Ogilvy?
Yep. So I don't teach paddleboard yoga, but there is definitely some paddleboard yoga out there, and it is super duper fun. If anyone is interested in that, there are several yogis around the Ohio Valley that teach that. And if you're not in the Ohio Valley, find a stand-up paddleboard yoga class near you, because it is definitely something different, and it's not super fast. It's not like downward dog, go to do this. Like it's very very slow because you're on a paddleboard. But that is a whole other experience, and it's really something good. So even my husband got it on the paddleboard yoga too, and he really liked it.
Yoga's come a long way. I know recently I did a video with a local business, and they got me in the swing to do the aerial yoga, which was very interesting.
Yeah, aerial yoga really is something. It is something different. I love that. When you get into that, it actually decompresses your spine. It's super relaxing and dreamy. So yeah, yoga has, I think, well, yoga's been around for thousands of years, but I think the perception of yoga is changing. We're really using a lot more science now, and research to inform our yoga practices, which I think is really opening it up and making it a little more palatable for people who maybe just think of yogis as, a bunch of hippies who smell like patchouli and charge their crystals under the full moon. I am both of those things. I smell like patchouli and I charge my crystals under the full moon. But if you're not into that, that's fine. We can talk about science when we do yoga with you. So, but that scientific basis, there's been a lot of ongoing research, especially with recovery, drug recovery, or physical recovery from different things, and also recovery from trauma and PTSD. There's been a lot of scientific breakthroughs in terms of now we can prove that yoga is beneficial for those things. And that's really, really cool. And it's really just opening it up to a lot of different folks.
Well, that's wonderful. Joelle, thank you so much for joining me here in the studio tonight. I wish you the best of luck with your new venture or your ongoing venture. You've kind of taken all of your knowledge and put it into one spot and to share it with everyone. And that's beautiful. So thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Oh, Lori, thank you so much for having me. And thanks for what you're doing with this show. I think it's remarkable, and it really helps connect people from around the world with each other and seeing who those bright spots are. So thank you. And remember, you are here on purpose, and you're right on time.
Amen. Thank you so much. Well, folks, that completes another episode of Bright Spots, and it was a great one. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, or later today, or tomorrow, whenever it is you're tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, and I invite you back next week for another episode of Bright Spots. God bless. See you soon.